Happy birthday to TaSTA.
To us.
Happy birthday to TaSTA. Is it a birthday? It's not a happy anniversary
You know
to
what?
us.
The Polish birthday song will be better because it's stolat and it means 100 years. It's like you don't say I wish you a happy birthday. It's like I wish you 100 years.
Oh, right.
So
yeah.
stolat.
So it's a curse then. Yeah, I wish you were around forever. Endure all the things that happen. May you see many wars and may all your loved ones die before you.
100 nowadays, you're like, yeah, Jesus, I hope I can get to 100. A lot of people do, you know?
Yeah, didn't the oldest woman in the world ever die there during the week? 132. So.
Jesus Christ.
And you've seen that footage of the monk that was all over Reddit for the last 2 weeks. He's 116.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and he still picks his nose. Awesome, cool.
That was horrific looking, wasn't it?
Well, it looked like a prosthetic. What's that word from
prosthetic.
A prosthetic from like a TV show or a film or something. Yeah.
TaSTA, bringing you the best pronunciation on the internet.
It's so bad because I went back to listen to the first episode to see how we changed since then, which is surprisingly not that much.
Little.
And Tommie still has extreme difficulty in pronouncing the Estes Gloria Estefan method of communication with spirits.
Estes?
Don't ask me, I don't know.
I don't know.
You see, I think that I'm mixing up is because I know how it's spelled, but it's not how I think they pronounce it. The stay, I think, I don't know. Ask Jason. He knows.
They should have come up with an easier name.
Well, it's based on the hotel where they come up with it, that they were, isn't it, that they were the first haunting that they used it in, so that's why they call it that method. That's where the name comes from. But yeah, 100 episodes, dude.
Yeah, well done, man.
Well done to you. Yeah. Well done for putting up with me for 100 episodes.
I think you've put up more with me, to be honest. You know, my insane ramblings and rants and whatnot.
Yeah, as you say, old married couple at this point. My internet wife. But it's strange because when I was going to come back listen to the very first episode, do you like the way my webcam can now move?
How did you pan that? Wow, look at that. Panning fucking...
Yeah,
classy, huh?
I can imagine that'll get annoying real quick. Yeah. But you're much more into the woo immediately than I remember in my head.
Oh, was I?
Yeah,
okay.
And I think it's probably that the Spud atheist woo changeover had probably happened just before then, and so the podcast was then just let me ruin you. But. Yeah, because it's funny enough, isn't it? Like, I mean, this wasn't planned, but the first episode is about Hellier, and we both have rewatched Hellier in the last 2 weeks or whatever, so it's kind of interesting. But yeah, no,
it's great on a second rewatch, isn't it?
It is, yeah, I enjoyed it. I have to say.
God, yeah, I liked it a lot more. Like, I liked it the first time, but now knowing more about, especially Thelema, you're like, oh wow, you know.
Yeah, come here. Can someone give me the me who needs the proper pronunciation things? Because I'm brilliant at it. Thelema.
Thelema's what the Yanks call it.
Yeah. What was Marco called it? Thelema.
I think he calls it Thelema.
Yeah, because I always think every time I say it a different way. I was kind of, what is it? Yeah.
Look up Google Translate there and look up the Greek word Thelema. That'll, and then that'll tell you.
Pronounce Thelema. Okay, you're not going to be able to hear this. But I'll know, and I'll tell you. It's pronounced sausage. What? Thelema is how YouTube says Thelema.
No, but are you in
I'm in pronunciation guide on YouTube.
Thelema is the Greek.
All right.
But yeah, still sounds more like Thelema.
See, because you say Thelemic, right? Don't you? This is the Thelemic idea.
I said Thelemite.
Telemite, but that is a person who's into Thelema. Yeah. Chaos Magic. But you see, there's the same issue with Chaos Magic because there's this whole thing of chaotes or coyotes. Which way do you pronounce it? I don't like coyotes. It's just because it's
the animal.
Yeah.
Coyote. You know?
Yeah, but that's how some people pronounce the coyote. Oh, it's CHOATE. Whatever way that AOET. Shut up, Tommie's brain. You're useless. But yeah, so I'm sure there's other things as well. Are you a Golden Dawn follower? Are you a Golden Sunset? Which is it? Which type of golden are you? Yeah.
How are you getting on with that Crowley book? What's his name? Kavinsky? What's his name?
I've read so little recently. It's been.
Is it Kaczynski?
Yeah, I think it is. It's just there, so I can have a look. Of course, it's in red, and I can't really make it out. Yeah, it's something like that. Richard Kaczynski, isn't it?
Yeah.
You've been reading it though, haven't you? You've been enjoying it.
Yeah, it's dense. It's like 700 pages or something, isn't it?
How did Duncan describe it? It's the book you need if you really want to know what Aleister Crowley was doing on one particular day.
yeah, that's it. There's like, you start reading it and you're like, wow, this is really in depth. This is brilliant. But then like 50 pages in, you're like, oh man, come on. Do you know, because there's lots of stuff like there's the bit I'm on. He's coming to the end of his mountaineering stuff, and it's like. Goes into like,
has he let your man die yet? Has that happened yet?
Yeah.
Nice man, Aleister.
Yeah. He just sits there in his tent. So there's a mutiny on. It's not K2. It's one of the other ones. And they're like, yeah, look, we're out of here. This is a mess. And Crowley's like, yeah, whatever. I'm supposed to be the leader. And they're like, no, we're going down the mountain. And Crowley's like, it's nighttime, you idiots. What are you doing? And they're like, no, fuck you. This is shite. And like 4 of them die. And then the other guy that's with Crowley's like, Jesus, I'm going to go help them. And Crowley's like, well, I'm going to have a cup of tea.
Yeah, because they're dead. They want me to do it.
It's nighttime. I'm not going to risk my life to save people at nighttime. Which, I mean, technically, you're not supposed to go out at nighttime. Anyway, he's still an arsehole, Crowley. Yeah. The book's really, really good. But like, it's the same as what Duncan says there. It's a bit too in depth with the B and C class characters, you know what I mean?
Right. All right. Okay. And doesn't do it in a good John Higgs type way where you go, oh, I'll go on this journey to see what Swedenborg is about.
No. It's not like that. Everything's very matter of fact. No, it's great. It's a really, really good book. It's just it's the kind of thing that you wouldn't read it and it was too long to read in one sitting, but you need to pick it up from time to time rather than just stick with it, you know.
I've read a few biographies of Crowley. I read the Martin Booth one. I read the first Tobias Churchin one. As I look, there's a few up there, but I am looking forward to that. And the Tobias Churchin one's kind of weird because it's a bit, he throws you in the middle of it. It's more like you've joined the conversation and go, what? What? Where are we? But it's once you get around that. But he's like 6 or 7 different, you know, where he takes an epoch of Crowley and does them like in Berlin or in India or whatever it is. Yeah.
That's a good idea. Yeah. I like your man Kaczynski though. His name had come up a good bit when I was into the Celtic stuff because he's done lots of writings on that, and you'll find them for free on those like academia sites and stuff like that. Loads and loads of stuff he's written about. He's a smart chap.
Yeah, and he's on Twitter. Seems nice.
Yeah. His Instagram is lots of food and stuff, vegan stuff. You know, and you see that doesn't look very filling.
Yeah, I would need to eat a plate of chips after that.
You see pictures of vegan food, and you're like, God, I'd need a drink after that.
Yeah.
Everything was so dry.
Yeah, or you know what would be perfect for that? Cheese. Just put some cheese on top. I remember once, I was vegan at least twice in my life for extended periods, so I know how shit the food is. But it's actually not. If it was a lot harder to do when I was doing it because you couldn't even get vegetarian food. So it was like, you know, you just literally had what I ended up doing, and because I was traveling around with the band, and you know, you're eating out of petrol stations and chippies, so you had crisps and chips. That was it. You know what I mean? Great. So if you have
with salt,
tomato at 4 o'clock in the morning in a petrol station, you're not getting a tomato, man. You're getting crisps and coffee. That's it. But if you have time and you're good, it's pretty good. But I always kind of wished with the vegan food that they didn't pretend that it was the other food. You know, I was watching one thing one time and I was like going, oh, we all know everyone likes mac and cheese, so let's make a vegan mac and cheese. And you're just going, no, just, you know, do something else that's interesting, because you look, and at the end of it was like some show on YouTube and it was going to people who were trying to be vegan, and it's going, here's what you used to eat, this gorgeous mac and cheese, and here's this new carroty something ridiculous, and they were going, yeah, it looks exactly the same. You could just tell, dying inside, lying. But now it's great because there's so much vegan food and stuff, and you can go out and they're always the option. But a lot of vegan, vegetarian food is just processed shitty food, stuff that looks like food, not actual food.
You may as well be eating a packet of ham for how good it is for you. You know, okay,
morally, but from a health point of view, it's way worse than you know. But I don't know. We'll solve it. This new kind of you can grow a cow in a lab. that could be the end of the world, or it could be something good, you know, where it's like, you know, it's an actual steak. Everything is a steak, but no animals were actually harmed in it. We'll see.
That's what I thought you meant, like test tube babies. That's what I thought you meant. Test tube.
Like grow a cow and then kill it. Yeah. Just make, you know, the morally worse, where you grow a cow just to kill it, but like not in the natural way. It's just like one step more into the horror. Yeah. I'm sure that's happening. Actually,
I just suppose if you think about most cows are test tube.
Well, it's IVF, isn't it? It's all IVF now.
Yeah, because there's very few, like, not very few. There are obviously farms with bulls who look after the herd, but like at the same time, it's mostly it's mostly just buy sperm and get the vet to come. Yeah, have you ever seen a horse?
I've ever seen a horse's cock. Where's this going?
Jesus, yeah. It's like, and then like they stop and they do a piss, and then this huge floppy thing just comes out, and it's like, how does that fit inside you?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What's your anatomy?
Inside the horse or inside you? It's about, what are you thinking
inside
here?
of me, inside of you. No,
yeah.
That's what's the brand, isn't it? Forgetting Sarah Marshall. Yeah, no, there's this video on Reddit of how they get the jizz from the horses, and there's this beast of a horse. He's gorgeous, like he's just a fucking ride, you know. And then there's this horny mare, just like standing at a fence, and she's, you know, got her arse cocked up, and she's ready, and she's all horny as well. And just when your man is jumping up on top of her, this vet comes in with this like huge, like a gym
bag.
sock. No, it's not like a gym sock. It's more like the javelins that they have in Ukraine.
Oh, right.
There's two handles on the side of it. So at the last second, she just like pops it on him, right. And he just and the poor mayor is like, hey, what the fuck? Come on, cock blocked. No,
nightmare for everyone
anyway.
involved.
Have a look for. I don't know what you'd search for, but it'll ruin.
I'll tell you what, don't search for it. Just
it's very funny. It's worth seeing. It's very funny.
Yeah, man.
God almighty, like you got to study to be a vet for 7 years and then you end up wanking off horses.
Yeah, there's an awful lot of those videos going around of different, not just horses, but like, and I don't mean in the bestiality, but like when you see Reddit's such a strange place. You know, you go, here's how we have to look at, here's how we have to wank off pandas. It's like, well, I don't want to see that, but I'm still looking at it like, oh right, okay, that's interesting. Next. And because it's Reddit, it buffers every 3 seconds, so you actually, 10-second videos,
yeah, what's
4 hours
videos?
to watch.
Why is it so bad?
I don't know. It's an ongoing joke on Reddit that it's funny, the ads load perfectly, isn't it?
Yeah,
That's strange.
Of course. Yeah. No, I've written down Jerusalem here because while we were doing the sound check, I was reciting some of William Blake's poetry there, and not that I know it off the top of my head, I had it open on a page. But you were talking about Jerusalem the other day on the Discord there with someone. What's the problem with it? It's a bit hard.
Alan Moore one, though.
Yeah.
Well, he writes an awful lot from different characters, right? So, and he'll start. So you'll be getting into something, and then the next chapter is like written, like James Joyce would write stuff. And you just go, I just can't get my brain into this, or it'll be written from like a train spotting type, that kind of an accent or whatever. And it's also ultimately,
but it's a graphic novel. It's comic. Like.
No, it's not. No, it's a book. It's a book. Yeah, right. It's 1,200 page, 40-hour audiobook book.
Yikes.
Yeah. It's quite like, it's the thing why I started, because I skipped a few chapters, is because I was going, I don't understand it. I'm just literally here listening to someone going, as far as I'm concerned. I'm going to just skip it to the next thing, because that character will never be heard again in the story. It's not as if, and there's no insight. It's just kind of a snapshot of. Okay,
so it's not like Ulysses, where you're looking for James Joyce when he pops up in it, because he's supposed to pop up a few times.
I think probably, it's not just there randomly. I'm sure Alan Moore has an exact reason, and if you looked into it, it probably is integral to the plot, and I just didn't get it. But yeah, I was like going, oh God, I could be doing something else with my life as well. So this is literally what I thought. But I think it back. The opening scene in the church with the angel coming alive, that's amazing. I was going, here we go, this is going to be awesome. And but then it's kind of like the big, will you ever read it? Will I talk about it? Can I spoil it a bit?
Yeah, I don't mind.
Yeah,
you can spoil books and I'll still read them. That doesn't really bother me.
The kind of notion about it is, which I really like, is that everything happens, in an area and it leaves its imprint, and you can walk through, and there's him going down, there's the character going down with Asmodeus, and they're looking through the different houses, but because they can see it from a different angle, they can see both the roof and through the roof, and all of that's kind of interesting. But ultimately the kind of notion behind it is that it's the whole thing is a billiards game, and I'm kind of going, that's like a Twilight Zone episode, man. And then I'm going, but so's the end of Watchmen, so maybe. And I like the Twilight Zone, but it's just kind of, I don't know, it's from the 60s, you know. We've no better stories. It's like, it's kind of really, it's a billiards game that the gods are playing. I feel like I've read this before, I've heard this before, or
it's the end of Men in Black, isn't it, when the aliens are playing marbles up in space?
Yeah, it's it's like, right, okay, but it's presented as if it's fresh. But then subsequently, when I was doing the Alan Moore, I was going to say masterclass, what's it called, Maestro thing, the BBC thing, he's talking about this notion in it, and it's a statue of the Archangel Michael that's in Nottingham. Is in Nottingham? It's from not Nottingham, Northampton. Jesus, and he always thought his entire life as a kid growing up that it was a snooker cue. And so then this led to him that it's the angels are playing snooker or whatever. And I goes, well, that's more interesting than it's, you know, when you kind of see the development. But I'm really more interested a lot of the time with Alan Moore and even with Grant Morrison and stuff is them and their thought process rather than the actual finished. You know, Grant Morrison talking about his comics for me and explaining them are much better than his comics. I'd be
more of a fan of Alan Moore's work than Morrison's. Morrison's seems to me to be aimed at I don't know if it's intentional, but it's more for teenagers in early 20s.
And definitely for people who are steeped in the kind of lore and the background and know every issue and every character, and like he has a deep understanding of every Batman B plot that ever existed, and kind of plays to that and kind of go, well, I don't know that. So
I'm the same. I read The Invisibles, the first one, and I planned on buying them all, but the first one was just like, it's all right. Like, it's just not, didn't hit me.
Yeah, but it's like, had The Matrix not existed as a movie, it would have hit you more. You know what I mean? It's because it's everything has been. It's like when you watch Dune now and you go, well, this isn't really new. It goes, but it was. This is where they stole everything from.
Yeah, it's like what's the first cyberpunk book that started on the Necromancer, I think.
Yeah,
like, I went back to that because that was late 70s or something.
I think so, 77, isn't it? Something like that.
Yeah, but it was 70s anyway, and reading it now, and when you know so much of sci-fi already, it's kind of like, this is a bit meh.
Yeah, you know? yeah. But I think it suffers from it being ahead of its time or whatever, and it's the thing that, you know, it's like
it suffers from that everything else has been copied from it.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Yeah, it's like when they're going to do the Invisibles TV show now, and you kind of go, well, if they do it exactly like the comic, in one way, we're bravo, because everyone always gives out, why do you change it? But it's just going to seem like Matrix wannabe, Dark City wannabe, or I don't know, any of these things. And
I don't know. I think it depends. I mean, I think they did. Well, I really like the Preacher TV show. I know plenty of people didn't, but I thought it was, more or less same as the books, and I was happy enough with that. Like,
yeah. I only seen the first 2 episodes, and then Vanessa didn't like it. Stopped. Yeah, I will go back to it because I enjoyed it.
The vampire, the Irish vampire. He's not Irish. He's an English actor, isn't he? He does a brilliant. Oh Jesus, he does the Irish accent brilliantly. What's his name? Cassidy the vampire. It's class.
If I had one superpower though, I would like to be able to speak the word. I always think that would be fantastic. You know, it's almost like the Jedi mind trick. Oh, you will take the Denari, whatever it is. It's like, yeah. But it'll definitely, it'll be. It won't be for good things. It won't be for moral things.
No, you'd just be going up the banks and stopping time all the time, and just filling your pockets and coming out again, and okay, go again, and and the money's insured, so you're not hurting anyone. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I think at that point I would go into the dark side. the power would have taken over. I would be feeling the hate, all of that stuff. It's made of folk today, isn't it?
There's a karma conundrum for you there. Like if you could stop time and go into a bank and steal money that's insured and you're not hurting anyone. Where is that? Are you collecting bad karma there or what? Because I know it's not your money.
Well, here's the thing. Then it could. I'm not the Lords of Karma who actually know, but it would come down to what you think, I suppose, wouldn't it? Like, do you think you're committing a crime?
I still think it's stealing then, wouldn't it?
Yeah. A good kind of place to have those kind of debates is in or piracy over on Reddit. There's they make some solid claims of why it's okay to sometimes pirate stuff. Particularly stuff that's no longer available. Why can't you pirate a game from 20 years ago that you can't buy?
Yeah. No,
or a B-side or an album of a band that you loved when you were 16 but isn't on Spotify because no one else liked them.
It's like I would never have got the Baptist Head books if I hadn't pirated them. Well, they were on Internet Archive, and I think I put them
up on Internet Archive, but I originally got them from Scribd, whatever the bloody place.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But I mean, at some stage, Duncan or Alan had to put the PDFs up on the internet because they're the print-ready PDFs. So it's definitely the original files.
Well, then that's not stealing then, because they gave it away for free.
Well, I don't know if they did or not. So I just know that when I asked Alan, can I put these up on Archive, he said yes, and then when I did get talking to Duncan, he was happy enough with it too. So.
Oh, well, then that's fine. Because
he links to it on his website. I assume he's happy with it.
I hope someday they'll reissue them. That'd be nice.
Yeah, as like a hardback goat skin thing. It's just so much work.
Now you sound like foolish fish now.
Oh, the smell.
Yeah, I just like books with paper and words.
So you can underline them. Oh, imagine you got a goat skin grimoire from the 400 years ago. Big underlines, pencil marks. What does he mean here? What's this?
Non-duality. What the fuck is this? See on about non-duality. How can two be one? What the fuck?
But also not one. It's not a monad. What's this?
You want to talk a bit about Hellier?
Yeah, I don't mind. Yeah. Being that it will echo the 100th episode. Go back to the first. Tell me your thoughts. Because it's interesting. I talk about pretty much the same type of things I was talking about last week when I was talking about Hellier. When I was talking about the sinks. I talk a bit about around that as well. Again, having the thing where I was going, I don't really believe they're sinks, but that's not for me to judge their sinks. It sounds like I'm saying kitchen sink, but I actually mean synchronicity. Go into someone's house, go, oh, sink. Oh, is this a Belfast sink? I'm judging your sink.
Armitage Shanks. Yeah, I like that. There's a funny sink at the start of it, which I don't know if I said in the first episode. You can tell me because you really listen to it. And the very first episode, they start talking about how these kind of weird sinks come together that are kind of pointing them at going to Hellier and investigating these claims of goblins. And then there's like they start putting up these random. Sorry, what's their website? Planet Weird. Planet Weird has an auto tweet thing that was putting out tweets, and your man Carl Pfeffer is looking up stuff, doing a bit of research, and he's like, I presume he says it in the German way, Pfeffer, yeah?
We've had this conversation in the first episode. That's exactly what, I claim it's FIFO. You say, I'm going with the German, so.
Well, it must be spelt in the German
Surely
way.
to God he mentions his name.
And his first name is Carl, you know what I mean?
Yeah, Karl-Heinz Pfeiffer.
Karl-Heinz Pfeiffer. Yeah,
I'm sure to mention his name in the thing. I'm sure we could.
I think they just say Carl. Don't
right.
They?
Okay.
Anyway, and then there's this weird thing for me that like all of the dates that they show up on Twitter are my birthday. I'm like, oh, that's weird. And plus as well, there's like the weird syncs that in episode and in season 2, the Star Sapphire, which are the syncs that I've been getting.
Yeah.
Over the last month or two as well. And it's like that's bizarre that like. Two totally different ways of looking at it. They're going into it from a paranormal thing. I'm looking at spirituality as the aim of enlightenment, oneness, all that kind of stuff. But still, there's this weird Star Sapphire sex magic thing that we have to do. Maybe I have to do it with the Hellier people because there's no fucking way Aga's going to let me do it with her.
Or with the Hellier people.
It's not that bad, the Star Sapphire. It's really just like 4 sex positions and just try not to come until the last one.
Right, yeah, it seems doable.
Oh, I don't know. 4 different positions. 4.
Yeah, 4.
Ooh.
Yeah. Do it over 4 nights. You'll be fine. Yeah.
No, that's the thing. It says in the what's the book called? Amatel, something like that. It says that like if you jizz early, then you have to start all over again.
We might have to do this a number of times. do you want me to be enlightened or not? What is it? Yeah.
No, look, I loved watching it, and I was mad excited, especially during the second season when it's all fucking coming together. And you see poor Greg losing his mind. You feel so sorry for him. And then Connor, you see Connor kind of disappears for a couple of episodes. He's not disappears, but he's not in it so much for the first around the middle part of the second season, and then suddenly he's back in it, and he's like, "Shit, lads, I got this." Fucking hell, and he's just balls deep in it, and he turns up all this stuff, the cipher stuff, which is just brilliant. I think for me, I had somehow forgotten about that bit of it, but because I wasn't not into Thelema, because I didn't know enough about Thelema and the numbers in 93 and 418 and all that kind of stuff.
We said that exactly the same time.
But then watching especially like the last episode, like getting that and going, all right, yeah, this is. I mean, it's fairly fucking obvious what this is. This is 418. This is Thelema. You got to do this stuff. The next step, because the pan ritual at the end of it always kind of. It didn't always kind of sit right with me. I thought what they were doing wasn't the correct thing. You know. I know you have thoughts on that as well, but it never really.
Yeah, you said the same thing on your first viewing as well, that you weren't buying that pan stuff as well. It seemed a bit ridiculous, and you would say I'd rather just buy 20 fags.
But I know, that's right. Yeah, but I know why I was thinking that way, and because I think I was thinking in the same way as the Hellier guys were thinking that.
Just hold on, because I have to say this: fags or cigarettes. People over here, I know that's going to be but that's just an Irish.
Yeah, on YouTube. Fuck. Cigarettes.
Cigarettes.
I think they saw Pan as a god of something, and they were calling him down to have a chat or get some sinks off or signs off, rather than seeing him as what Marco was saying during the week. Is no, see Pan as the Tao.
Yeah, the all.
No, he's the all, the element, everything around us kind of thing. So that makes more sense. But at the same time, I think that when they were going into the ritual at the end, I don't think they did see it that way or do see it that way. Or I think see it at the time.
There was a couple of things going on, and this is me probably projecting too as well, in that they needed an ending to season 2. So that seemed like a logical kind of let's do this. But that other thing we've talked about before, where sometimes it feels like there's a momentum towards something, and then it doesn't manifest in the way you think it is, and then we're kind of working with the idea of was that ritual for Pan for his benefit? If it was, then you don't get to decide if it worked or not, or was it for their benefit? And if it was for their benefit, then it did seem to peter out and go nowhere. But they also then, if the chronological order of how it's presented is true, that's when they come back with and they understand the cipher a bit more, and it's definitely leads to Thelema, sausage, and then they instantly reject that and say that's not what we're doing, we're going to do our own thing, which is exactly what they did to end up in a cave with Pan as well. It's like it's like, you know, it's all pointing to this thing, and they went, well, maybe we don't have to do it that way. That's kind of maybe sometimes you have to do the stuff, Sapphire. Maybe the thing on
that idea of, like, you know, this is maybe Pan wants this thing. I don't know if I'd be bought on that either now.
No, well, and you can't know anyway. So it's like, but more what I mean is that if you do something for Pan, or you seem to be led somewhere, and you don't see an outcome, just because you doesn't see the outcome doesn't mean that there wasn't an outcome. You know, it just might have been for someone else, for the other thing, or for whoever. Yeah. You know, Christie, maybe he got the thing or whatever it was. If it's all set up by him, who knows? Yeah.
But I think the ending with the numbers and the ciphers and then getting it, I think that's spot on. Like, that was I think that was the perfect ending rather than the ritual, because obviously the ritual was the ending, but then this other bit was kind of snapped on at the end. So like, oh shit, we found something and we better say it. Yeah. But,
I also don't understand why they didn't use pan pipes to play the notes. It seems the most obvious thing to do.
Yeah. But like, and they're in the ritual and they start feeling nauseous and sick and all that kind of stuff. It's like, get the fuck out of the cave, lads. That's why coal miners used to bring canaries.
Yeah. There is that too. Is there? Yeah,
and plus as well, there's like, if you have one chord playing constantly, it's gonna wreck your head.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I can't wait till the third one. There is supposedly a third one started. That they've started doing stuff, but
well, what's it going to be? It's just them going to become Thelemites, because that's kind of what they have to.
But I don't know. Well, if the end of season 2 to kind of reject that, but talking to Jason and Margaret, that just seemed to, because it's 3 years ago now since season 2, is it 2 years ago? That they seem to have more gone in that direction. I don't know. I can't speak for them. I've never spoken to Greg in my life. So I don't know, so I can't speak for him. And I know 3 years is a long time. Particularly if you're like, 100 episodes, look how different we are and how not different we are over 100 episodes. There's like, but there's, to kind of encapsulate a piece of time when you're in the middle of learning about something, coming from a paranormal to whatever Greg becomes, and your snapshots in the middle of that and kind of going, oh, but you said, it's like, yeah, but like, I'm sure I've said equally weird things or, stuff that I don't agree with now, but it's just because they're on a podcast, on a TV show, you're kind of, it cements them into, well, this is what he thinks. And he's going, well, that's what he thought that day when that interview happened. And
for sure. Yeah. And just because it's up there on the internet from 3 years ago doesn't mean, of course, he's not going to be thinking it now, or even he was thinking five minutes later. There's some of the interviews where he's just pure stressed, and you're like, you feel so sorry for the poor fella. His head is melted, just going, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah. We were very excited about the interview with the clock in the background. We just thought that was wonderful.
Yeah.
But it's so good. And I was like, I was watching it again, going, brilliant, excellent. And the fact that it's blinking and really obvious that there is just perfect.
I like that. Yeah. I'm going to get that book to. Sit down with a property and have a look.
Did you get the Indrid Cold's book, My Life?
No,
with Indrid
I forgot
Cold?
about it. But I was mad into getting it, and then on the next episode or two, I was like, no, I don't believe it. Do you think he's still alive?
Well, the first question is, do I think he existed in the first place? But I don't know. I'd like to both of those things. Like there's definitely a fabrication or an exaggeration or having about the initial contact that they're saying it's a bit sketchy, or the guy himself is a bit sketchy. But that's the kind of standard answer to anyone who presents some sort of strangeness to the world. I love the name. It's one of my favourite names in the entire world. I just think it's brilliant. And
pretty class though to meet an alien who's just like a normal dude. Hey man, hey, how's it going? Oh, you found me. Yeah. Shit, now I'm on the spot. I don't know what to ask you. What kind of biscuits do you like?
Polo biscuits, obviously, with butter on them. Fine, cup of tea.
Right. Chocolate ones.
Oh, I need them. Digestive. Sometimes. You have to be in the mood, though. You have to be in the mood for it digestive. Chocolate digestive.
That's exactly what happened, though. Like, you go on this big search to find someone, then you doorstep them and you're like, fuck.
I know, sure, we've done that stupid
really
things. Yeah, call up Metatron and go, oh shit, he's here. I like bread. Do you like bread? Yeah.
I think he's real, but I want him to be real. There's more it, I suppose. Hope he's not dead. That'd be
well, I mean, if he's real, that at some point he has to move along. But unless, 700 or 800 years old, these people.
I don't know how long these aliens live for, do we? Oh.
Yeah. I really wish there was a season 3. I wish there was more things like Hellier. That's the same quality and the same kind of that got you swept up in it. That you felt, not that you were part of it, but that you go, oh, I could do this. There's a, I'm learning about myself. I'm learning about different, all of that kind of stuff that you get from Hellier. Which they kind of mention that maybe it's part of the ritual is everyone watching it too. Which is such a chaos magic kind of approach to things. It's really cool. But yeah, there's Penny Royal Tea, which I haven't. It's the Penny Royal Tea. Is that what it's called? The podcast, Penny Royal, something like that. Which they kind of looked into it afterwards and did stuff. It's meant to be really good. I've only listened to a few episodes, and that was ages ago. But I must get back into podcasts. I just don't listen to them anymore.
Tea. Isn't that what women used to drink to have abortions?
It is, yeah. That and black cohosh, which I don't know.
Americans will be doing soon again.
Yeah, this is good, yeah. Maybe hold on till I see. I'll open up my Spotify and Pennyroyal, yeah, Pennyroyal, not tea, just Pennyroyal.
Okay. Well, Pennyroyal Taste, the Nirvana song, isn't it?
Yeah. It's hard to think.
Or at least a lyric in a song. I don't know what the name
is. No, it is that Nirvana, yeah. I had one of those to change the subject. Are you finished with Hellier?
Yes, we can move ahead. Hurry up with fucking season 3. Jesus, we need to know. No. We need to know.
Yeah, or or don't. Something else. Yeah,
do what you're gonna do.
I had one of those kind of explorations into philosophical midwifery and binding or shadow work this week to knock the shite out of me. It was really good, but I'm still I haven't fully got through it, whatever. I ended up getting a blackboard. That's why I'm looking in here. I'm drawing the stuff out and kind of trying to have it so it's kind of there and I can visualize, because I always find when it's in a book, I can never get it in the right place. If you're writing it out to see it and then I go, I've gone to the next page and you start again. It just, I don't know, something tactile about it that I didn't like, but I kind of loved the Pierre Grimes, and Alan has done it too as well, where he's done the it's on a blackboard or it's on and there's more of a free form and you can kind of come back, look at it, whatever. But it was the kind of the nature of it was around feeling. It's because every time you'd hit something, it would kind of expand and you go into it a bit more. So the very initial one, I'm still looking at what's this sadness thing, what is, So, but I didn't get to that because I was kind of looking. I got to a point where I could describe it exactly, but there's no origin scene, so I just kind of have to leave it for the minute. But this one was kind of around, why does it feel like anytime I have something, if I express something good or that it's taken away from me. So I was kind of looking at that. What is that? Because I have examples of it, but it's obviously not true, because that feels like a shadow, that I can't have anything nice or whatever. But it's just kind of seeing it and looking through it, and there was a couple of events that happened in my life that it brought it straight up, where it's like kind of, if I do something or if I create something or whatever, it's almost as if there's a move by people to come in and want to take that for themselves. So rather than, like, say, let me see if I give an example. So say you release a song and you've done all the song, whatever, and then there's kind of a move where someone comes in and goes, I wanted it, will you record a song with me or whatever? But it's not it's trying to take, in a sense, what you've done and take it for themselves. It's like, will you draw my comic? It's like this kind of, and so what it felt like was that was a resource. The one person was being a resource and the other one was kind of exploiting the resource, and I was getting something taken away from me without getting the kind of the goal of what I wanted, which was whatever I'm trying to do with the thing in the first place. So that was kind of right. Okay, that's a bit shit. That's how I see it. That I'm a resource that's been exploited, and so following that backwards and trying to find out where it's coming. Lots of family stuff and then, growing up, childhood, all that kind of stuff. And it gets to the point and you're going, right, I've sufficiently found how I can blame everyone else for my problems. Brilliant. Yeah, this is great. This is all explains everything. And then there's a moment where it just goes, and bing, and it goes the other way. And you go, oh no, I'm a shitty, terrible, horrible person. Look at all the crap I've done. And it was just like, yeah. That's the thing. When you were talking about it, I was like, Tommie, you need to flip this. Yeah,
that's what was in my head. You need to flip that around.
And absolutely. And it's like, oh, why isn't this resolving? It's because you're missing most of the fucking picture here, dude. But it's like traceable and then going the whole way through and just it's like gut wrenching. It's just
so. What is it then? Is it the need to have a kind of control over the creative process you're involved, or is it that you don't like sharing your creativity?
I think it's ultimately down to seeing people as resources.
You see people as resources,
and being felt and being used as a resource, and then seeing how rather because I kind of want to think that people are doing that to me, victim, and then kind of noticing but you've also done
you're
that.
doing it as well.
Yeah. That the role encapsulates both sides. That's
so you're using me. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
100 episodes. Well, 100 episodes, you've gotten away with it, so all right.
Yeah. But but it's hard because sometimes you're looking through it, we never go, oh no, that's similar, that's not, that maybe just be shitty or whatever. But then you can also see where there's a huge time and a huge incident that came up in it around someone. And one of the days, I just no money, I was broke at the time, and he took me, he says, come on, I'll take you out for some pints. And we were there for some pints. And then when he got drunk at the end of it, he got really nasty with me and started calling me a sponge and a user and this whole kind of thing. And I just kind of accepted it. But then it's kind of, when I pulled it apart and kind of looked at it, I was going like, I just accept it because that's the role. I don't think I was in that case. Like, it's like, so there's a kind of a shadow role within this thing.
He asked you out for pints.
Yeah, where there's this kind of notion of offering generosity to then turn it to make you into a shitty person. And that popped up in a load of them as well. And I was going, oh, hold on. You know, so it's not just, it's never as clear cut as you would like it to be, whereas, you know, your man goes, oh, you're a user. And you go, oh, that's, my life is clear. Look, I understand. It's all of these kind of moving in with each other. But it's tough because on one level, you're trying to really dig in and go, right, let's look at this. Let's not shy away from your shitty behaviour, and let's not pretend it didn't happen, and, you know, not to try to justify it immediately, go, oh look, there's where I did it, but that's only because when I was a kid it was good, you know. It's like, no, you did, in that moment you did it, that, you know. And but then to try and balance that between being tough and introspective and really going at it, and not falling apart thinking you're just a shitty fucking person, you know, that there's, and you kind of have to really tread that carefully, whatever, because I can kind of, because also you can go with the self-pity and you can go with the victim and all of that. It's just
so
like,
I mean, how are you supposed to be objective about your own behaviour?
Yeah,
you are supposed to be, but it's easier said than done, like.
You know, so it's tough. And it's like, because when we were talking last week about that moment where, you know, fuck moment, it's usually, and how a lot of the kind of examples on Pierre Grimes stuff as well is a realisation that someone's been shitty to you and you've carried that. But there is also an fuck moment where you go, look what I've been at. And I mean, within it there's a devastation, but there's also a, great, I don't have to do this anymore, you know, and, you know, or I recognise this and I can see this. And I suppose in one sense it's the leading towards forgiveness or whatever, but there's so many things that have just come out of this whole thing that's just so raw, and you're just going, oh man, I'm never getting through all of this. I didn't even know last week this was a problem. You know what I mean? I'm looking at it, trying to sort out these problems and go, well, there's this huge one here. It's like, you know, but it's like, it's tough. And I was just sitting there, when was it? One of the nights, whatever, and I was just sitting on the couch and I had to turn off telly and I was just sitting there, and I just kind of fell on me. You get through it, and you know, but it's it's what you sign up for when you start looking at these things, though, isn't it?
Yeah. What's his because I've only watched a couple of videos of his thing that you were sharing, the playlist you put up there last week,
the Pierre Grimes stuff for people who don't know what we're talking about. A couple
of them, alright.
Yeah,
a couple of them have awful sound. It's hard.
I know. It's like, will you stop touching your mic, dude? Come on.
In the background.
I think a lot of them were recorded in video, you know. So it's
it's a long time ago, like in the early 90s.
Well, there is more on that playlist. There is ones from like the last, like 2019 and stuff. So,
right. Yeah. So, like, what's his kind of? I know his methodology is to look into dreams and symbolism and all that stuff, like Joe Campbell or Jung would as well. But it's like, does he, you know, does he recommend anything else like meditation or anything like that, or what?
Not in any of the books.
He's just dealing with dreams.
Well, the thing is that I don't know, because the stuff I've been looking at is his philosophical midwifery stuff, and he doesn't really mention that kind of, and it's not really dreams. In the philosophical midwifery, it's more a bit like closer to the binding stuff, where it's looking at circumstances. But it's the dreams, daydreams, all that. It's all as you can see, by the time you get to the end of the dream, you're talking about your dad. You know what I mean? It's not a car.
Of course,
and
it's
you know,
it's all,
but it's approaching it from the same methodology. You know, what's the goal? What's the state of mind? That's, you know, what's going on when that's happening, because mostly we just describe the event and we kind of leave out how we're feeling about it or whatever, and that seems to be more the indicator. And then trying, again, like mine, you're trying to find the whole where it's coming out in all your life, the different things, so trying to find origin scene and come back. And his thing in the origin scene is that you've been told something by someone, like a parent, 90% of the time, in that you don't, that it seems like you've been told a secret or truth about the world or something like that, and it's the way, because it's the situation is rare. There's usually it's a way of people showing love or something like that, and you walk away from it making a wordless conclusion about the world, and that's the problem. That it's just, you haven't defined it. You've just accepted a milieu or a kind of an atmosphere, but you've never put words to it, and that's why it sticks. And that's the parent doesn't know that they've transmitted it because they've got it from somewhere else. You don't know it's been transmitted to you because it's like a background inference that is taken that you just suddenly have from that scene, but you haven't put a word to it, or you haven't worked it out, or you haven't go, oh, that means that this. It's like a pendulum. It's the same. All that kind of notion.
No, I understand. You just accept you accept a behavior because you see an authority.
Well, no, you make a conclusion about something, but you don't know you've done it. You just think it's like that thing we've talked about before. If someone came down and goes, money, what the fuck, lads, what's this? It's so there that we don't. Right. So something appears that it's just you accept without knowing you've even accepted. I'm probably.
No, I get you.
Yeah. But and that's the thing. That's the pathologist, as he calls it, or the shadow, or the role, or whatever is the word you want to use for.
So how many roles can a person have? Like, there's nothing on that, is there?
No, until you don't. And there's no kind of question that you're getting rid of all of them either. Like, it doesn't mention that, you know. Like, there's people who've been doing it for years and years and years, and some of those videos to pop up and are still getting revelations about it.
Like, should you really be going to the same psychologist years after years after years if you're not healed?
Well, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. Yeah, no, there would be something like, it's like
I'm only half messing there.
No, but I know, but I know what you're pointing at there. Like, it's same thing. Like, it's like.
Do you remember the Big Mind video? And at the end of it, they have these interviews, and then there's one woman on it, and she's like, "Oh, this is my fourth time doing it." Like, well, one should be enough.
Yeah.
Well, like, you're just a bliss junkie.
Yeah, that too as well. You know, and particularly with the Big Mind stuff, that there is a kind of a state chasing thing going on there. Yeah. But that's because it's not an abiding awakening. You know, it's a sudden thing or whatever. But yeah, no, I understand what you're saying. But also, my rebuttal to that, I suppose, it's too strong a word, but my response to that is that seeing that I didn't even know I had these problems because I was looking at the other problem, that you just kind of go, there's so much that I don't think I'm going to get it all. You know, I just don't think it's going to happen.
Tommy, not with that attitude. Come on. Come on.
I know, but just to school, if you were at this 20 years, I could go, right, this could take 20 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like,
okay.
If someone says, oh, well, you've gone to him for 5 years, why aren't you healed? I go, I'm a shitty person. I've a lot to get through.
Oh, that's fair enough.
Yeah. But I'm absolutely not discounting your thing, because I think you're right, Nat. I think, if you're not...
Well, yeah, because you do have to be careful with stuff like that. Like, you can get addicted to therapy and stuff.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, Jesus Christ, fucking Tony Soprano fell in love with his therapist kind of thing.
Or bring your dream this week so you can have another little bash at your mother, you know. Get the endorphins going.
Get the fix. Go to someone who will be objective and just complain about something in your life, rather than like going home and doing the shadow work that she has suggested or something. You know?
Yeah. But which is, I suppose, the thing as well about doing kind of the bindings or the philosophical midwifery or whatever these things are. Well, it's philosophical midwifery because that's where it came from. How much you can do on your own. You know, I think you could possibly fool yourself into thinking you've removed all your shadows of your roles if you've done it all by yourself. Because I know, walking into a therapist, at a good therapist, and within about 30 seconds they have you clocked.
Yeah.
And then go, right, okay. So, and you know, are you getting same conclusion?
They would anyway, because it's all like, it's a mammy issue or it's a daddy issue, and that's it. But that's what it is with everyone.
Yeah. Oh. And being that the whole nature of the pathologos or the shadows, whatever, is that there's a kind of, not amnesia, but you're not aware of these things. That's the whole point. Like the method is there so you can describe it and get around it and look at it and all that kind of stuff. But I just wonder, is it possible? I would suspect, from a limited point of view, and having not done thousands of them as Pierre has, or 10,000, whatever, that I would suggest that he, even though he says you don't need a guru, the midwife is a peer. It's not a teacher. It's someone who's helping you. It's not an authority.
But it's still another person.
Another person. There's no mention of him saying doing it for yourself.
Yeah.
That's what to say he doesn't, or he doesn't recommend it. I have found no mention of it. I watch a lot of them at the minute. But but good. Shitty. Fucking shit week. But also, you know, it's what that's what
you signed up for, man.
Yeah.
It's what you signed up for.
Yeah, it's mad.
I'm still reading Jodorowsky's first fiction book, and he's talking. There's a great scene in it where his father not falls in love. His father is in a group. He's working for a communist, a leading communist in Chile. And the communist has a woman working with him as his right hand woman, and then there's Jamie as the father, and then there's another woman, Sophia, and she's a lesbian. And Jamie gets it into his head, I haven't had sex in ages, I need to have sex, I'm going to have sex with the lesbian. And the lesbian's like, no, I hate men, get the fuck away from me. And he's like, well, look, it's like this. Think of it as a surgical operation. You have a hymen, you need to get rid of it, you'll be able to move more freely, yada, yada, yada. And then she says,
that's
no.
a terrible chat-up line.
I know. But she's like, no, men disgust me. And he's like, okay, just hold on now. If you just stand beside me here and see how close we can be together without me disgusting you, that can be our first test, you know. And she's like, she stands beside him and hugs him a bit, and she's like, I don't find you disgusting at all. When can we do it? And so they have sex in this weird surgical way. Like, he makes it into this Jodorowsky ritual. He sprays the place with antiseptic and all. He wears a surgeon's thing, so it looks like a surgeon is doing it. And so they have sex in this weird way. And then Jodorowsky pops into the conversation. He's like, now, at the time, I was still in my father's balls, and I really didn't want to be born. I really didn't want this woman to be my mother.
Oh, but of course he said that. Oh, that's amazing.
I love that man so much. I love him so much. His books, the fiction books, are hilarious. I'm reading Psychomagia as well, and it's just class. I've watched a couple of recent interviews with him as well, and I'm just like, oh, I love this man so much. Like, I even went around Facebook there for 20 minutes yesterday, or the internet yesterday, trying to find a way to contact them.
Right.
You can't. You can't. He's too popular. Like, his Facebook has 4.5 million likes or something. His Twitter and Instagram are massive as well. The only way to get through him is through what do you call those people that look after celebrities? PR people?
Yeah.
That's the only way.
Or their agent.
What the fuck? Man, I live in Poland and I think you're Teddy. Can I talk to you for 10 minutes?
Yeah. And does he do podcasts?
Can you ordain me in the Church of Psychomagia? You know?
Yeah. Does he do podcasts or anything, or that kind of stuff? Like,
he was. No, do you know what? He was, at the time when he was crowdfunding the last film, he was doing tarot readings.
Yeah, he has them on YouTube. Yeah.
Tribute. Mm-hmm. Which, if that ever comes up again, I'll definitely contribute to that. And imagine getting a tarot reading off fucking that.
I'm not sure. I want to know. And then I know you must paint yourself in red and go to the top of the local library and fly like a bird. Fly.
He talks about one of the books I'm reading about him. He's like, I never, ever predict anyone's future when I'm reading tarot. Never. That's not what I'm to do with it. It's that I get the... Well, you have to do this long kind of questionnaire with him before he'll even do it. He's like, he wants to know your family tree and illnesses and health issue, which is the same thing, but feelings towards certain people and all that kind of stuff, and issues and things like that. So you send in this questionnaire first, and then the tarot reading it's only about the present, which I really like, you know. Yeah, because it's a bit like what we were saying last week about divination. That, like, the divination then is so you get the cards, that makes you think a bit differently, or makes you see something, or it triggers something, and that's when the other things happen. I really like that idea. I'm going with that. Yeah,
I'm going with that too. I think if that works, that it's it's afterwards is the thing. It's funny because I was listening to another revelation this week, listening to Duncan's podcast about the near enemies of Magick, and one of them is obviously the whole conversation between art and magic.
Should have called it frenemies.
Well, it's frenemies. Yeah, it's I didn't know it was a Buddhist thing because the notorious Harish, his new book is called Near Enemies of the Truth as well. So it's obviously. It's something. I just thought it was a thing people said near enemies, but Duncan said it's a Buddhist thing. But it's interesting between Duncan's podcast, Arthur's kind of response to it on Discord or whatever. I've never before been more sure of my own position by listening to someone who disagrees with me. But what I think ultimately it is that I think
this is the art versus magic thing,
that it's not the same thing, or that it's, you know, it's close but a confusion or whatever. I think it ultimately comes down to is I think I'm talking about something different than Duncan is, and I'm possibly talking about, when I talk about magic, different than what a lot of people are talking about. And I didn't realize that was. And I kind of, when I seen that, I went, oh, hold on, I can kind of fit in my thing a bit more or whatever, and I can understand it. From my point of view, and who am I to say? And it's, everyone is going to have their own kind of expression or their own understanding of it, whatever. I think Duncan's talking about mysticism. I don't think he's talking about magic. At least not what I think magic is. Or what I think Duncan is talking about, I would describe as mysticism. And everything he says about that, I think is true. In that I do think art isn't mysticism. And I think it stems from the whole notion that his favourite definition of magic is Alan Chapman's one, which is the art, I'll have you know, of experienced truth. That's not my definition of magic. I don't think it describes it at all for me. It describes mysticism or awakening or enlightenment or that kind of thing. But magic is the creative impulse. It's potentiality becoming form. It's bringing new things in. And experiencing truth can't experience is kind of, for me, that sounds like you're talking about things that are already the case. Where it's like, I suppose one way of looking at it is that you have the, Shiva, which is the principle, which is the thing, and then you have Shakti, which is the impulse. And I think, from my point of view, Duncan's talking about Shiva and I'm talking about Shakti.
Yeah, I get you.
And even if it isn't, if Duncan or or whatever, and that I have a wrong definition of magic, then I'm only really interested in that thing that I'm calling magic. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm interested. That's why I have all of this, and I don't know what that would be called from Duncan's point of view, or for whoever. It's not to pick on Duncan, but it's. And there was a great thing in it as well, going back to just our shadow work as well. Remember, I had this kind of notion of I had to externalise truth, and it was only, I needed someone else to validate it for me true. I realised within this that there was no part of me wanted to convince Duncan that he was wrong or that I needed him to agree with me in order for me. It was like, oh, right, like I can have my own opinion about this. That's amazing. And, and it to feel valid and right and true. And so that was nice. That was really to kind of go, oh, okay, there is a possibility that I'm experiencing something that other people aren't experiencing. Not uniquely, but that's okay. That my experience doesn't have to align with other people's experiences. And for the first time, I suppose I really realised that I was going, okay, I'm okay with that. And without having to change the world to, without having to express my UPG in the world and have it agreed with in order for me to agree with it ultimately. So, yeah, a big week, man. A lot going on. Yeah. Well, I would say you're closer to thinking magic is the experience of truth than I would be. I would say, that's what... Am I wrong? Right or wrong?
No. Yeah. I'd be Teargy is my thing. Union with the one, awakening, whatever name you want to call it. That would be my thing. I'm not because I am a creative person, but I'm less into how the nuts and bolts of something will work. I'm more about doing it to work. Like I was saying in the Thelema channel the other day, I said that's my thing with Thelema. I want the philosophy and the theology. I'm not really interested in the magic and the rituals.
Yeah.
And that's I don't know why that is. I don't know.
No, that's the thing that I think everyone to try and think that you should have the same experience as other people, as your magical practice or whatever it is. I think. Yeah, I mean, am I back as a chaos magician again or something? Have I done another twist?
I said in the thing, I blame my Catholic Irish upbringing. I went to mass every Sunday and funerals and weddings and whatever special events and stuff like that. Every Sunday and every whatever those days were until I was 18, until I moved out. You know what I mean? I've enough of candles and robes and Eucharists and reading from books that fucking no one understands, and anyone that does understand it will argue with someone else who thinks they understand it too. No, and it's my problem as well is the middleman thing. I need a priest.
Yeah.
Look, as much as I'd like to have a guru and someone I can turn to, and I do, thanks to Discord, I do have plenty of people I can turn to for questions. You're the number one. And like,
don't put that in me. I'm shit. I'll totally Tony Robbins you. I'm not your guru.
no, but like if you don't have the answer, this is what we do on the podcast. We say, I don't know. This person might know kind of thing. So yeah, that's my thing. Is that like is using magic or spirituality to get rid of the middleman? Because I'm like,
yeah, you see, that's the thing, and that usage of magic I understand, but it's not what I'm calling magic.
Sure,
I didn't realize the extent of that, of how I didn't think that. It's like, for me, like meditation to a lot of people is a magic. I don't think it's magic. I think it's meditation. I think it's a part of mysticism. It's a part of awakening, and all of that stuff is like a precursor or the groundwork towards being better at the other thing. That it's not for me. I know it's UPG, and I'm not saying I'm right, but it's how I experience it. In my personal experience, it's like the meditation is the life drawing. If you're going to do it in an art kind of thing, the drawing, the actual art is the magic. It's like music theory is the meditation, the mysticism, that kind of thing. The song is the magic.
Right.
That's or doing the song, the process, the whole thing. And it was interesting. We were talking again about this. There was a good discussion came out of this on the Discord, where I was kind of going, well, with regards to Grant Morrison's doing the Invisibles, I was going like, there's an idea that the act itself is the magic, and then maybe the book on the shelf isn't magic. And the response back was, well, I think the book on the shelf is. And I was going, are you saying the physical book or the content of the book?
Contents of it.
And then I was kind of going, but I also have held in my hands things that feel magical too, in like a totemic kind of thing. So it's just, I think it could be both, but it's kind of opened a few doors, a few avenues, and a few kind of head kind of, when I kind of raise, well, if I'm not thinking of it the way other people are thinking of it, what am I thinking of it? And it hasn't fully, but I know it's like allowed to kind of, all right, I can look at this in a different way. Because, I mean...
But do you still think, though, that the end goal of magic is union or awakening or...
No. I think the end goal of magic is evolution. Taking potentiality and creating it into form. Taking stuff from idea space and manifesting it. It's an evolutionary, whereas the other stuff is knowing where, the ground on where you are. If that makes sense. It's like, okay, union, do it right. Now what? Now start working. That's kind of how it feels to me.
Okay, I understand, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, right, now you've showed up. Now the work begins. And the magic is the work.
Aye.
It's becoming a better channel for allowing chaos, potentiality, Shakti to express itself. And that's what magic is. And therefore...
Oh, so you're saying that comes after awakening?
No, well, it's obviously coming concurrent for me anyway, or it can come before. But it's the thing that's expressing through me, and that mightn't be expressing through other people, and therefore it's hard to explain to someone else where it's not coming out that way, because they have it. Like it's like in Theosophy where there's the 7 different rays, and now we have a different kind of vibe, man. And it's not, it's like notes on a scale. They're just different. It's not that I know there's an order in the scale, but that it's not that there's my expression of magic is a higher or lower expression than someone else. It's just a different note that's been played. But from my point of view, it's magic is the creative impulse to expand. And it could be the difference between, as we talked before, about the difference between the dawn and the sunset, where some people are concerned with the sunset. I'm concerned with the dawn, with the expansion, the new thing, the new day, the new. Mm-hmm. And it feels that that's all kind of coming together in my head, what that is, that I might be seeing it in a different way because that's how it's expressing itself through me. And therefore then to turn around and tell Duncan that his understanding of magic is wrong because it's his understanding, and that is right from, or yours, or whoever, that's the type of thing. Yeah. But I don't know. You see, I can't know because I can't go, I don't know if I wasn't an artist, a writer, musician, podcaster, whatever, all these things that would I feel the same way, but I can't know because that's what I do. That's how this is expressing out through. And so to me, I can't tell the difference between creativity and magic because I think magic is creativity. I don't think it's the experience of truth.
So it's like you are let's say you are Shakti, and everything that's made around you is Shiva, or have it the other way.
That's yeah.
You're the dot. You're the newest, and then had it, who it, do it, move it, chew it.
Well, had it's the dot, new it's because it's the opposite.
So then you're the dot, and what you create is.
Well, yeah, but all of these fall apart because at some point, because it's like trying to compare certain things.
No, I know.
Yeah.
But
no, it's that I'm trying to express the impulse forward, and I think the shadow of that and how that's kind of coming out in the world is this kind of thing when we talk about the myth of progress, that this forward, that there's a shadow there in that it's like expansion, but in a kind of a capitalistic wrong way, and then picking up again about the thing I was talking about, the other shadow I'm working up with, the resource and the exploit, and it's like it's there in that as well. And it's so odd that you just go, why am I sad? And then all of this happens, and it's all here or whatever. But it's been quite. I had another meditative thing as well. We're running out of time. Tommie's talking a lot this week, but kind of seeing the spiral motion of how there's like lines, like 6 columns all around, and one is Christianity, one is meditation, one is Thelema, one is Theosophy, one is, I don't know, Hellier,
Islam, Hinduism,
and it's like the thing is going up like this. So every time, so you hit Jesus, and then by the time you're up here and you hit Jesus again, it's different. It's higher on the thing, and that's I was going, that's because I'm doing that. I'm seeing myself. Doing this for a while, doing that for a while, but every time getting the higher understanding of it, I was like, all right, cool. It's like one of those things where I go, oh yeah, I know that. Oh yeah, that's great.
Waldorf schools. What's his name? Steiner, right?
That's yeah. Well, I suppose it's like States and Sages, the Ken Wilber thing as well. But seeing it physically in front of you, you go, oh yeah. No, I get that.
Yeah. Oh no, I like that. Yeah. Definitely. Sure, we re-examine Hellier after 100 episodes. We see it a bit differently. Well, I definitely see it very differently now.
Yeah, but what I was surprised about the Hellier thing is how, and the first episode, is about how similar we are, given how much we've learned. And I mean that in a good way. It's like going, I wasn't as incomplete as I felt I was. Now, there's definitely points where I go, you're trying there, you're playing the knower there, you're doing this kind of stuff. But it's like going, but the first episode, we're trying to form as well the dynamic. What is this podcast? So it's going to be a bit fake and forced in some ways. But yeah, it doesn't sound like a first episode either. So I was quite impressed with how awesome we were. But yeah, like what a journey though, 100 episodes. Like the great thing I have found is that it's given me massive confidence in being able to have my own thoughts around things and to talk about them. And coming from you talking about your experiences and that it's not validated mine, it's kind of allowed me to be okay with them and go, all right, okay, that is a thing then. Yeah. Rather than going, oh, is that a thing? And it's going, oh, well, he's having that thing, so that has to be a thing. And so I'm very grateful for that. And it's just, you're a lovely person. I'd love to give you a hug. And I really like, this sounds like this is the last episode. Are you going to bring out a cum cake and then this is it? It's over with a candle in it. But yeah, I really enjoyed the last 100 episodes.
Yeah,
there's a lovely bit in the middle of it where we have a proper row. So that was obviously the turning point.
No, yeah, it's been mad. Do you know what's really cool about it is that, like, okay, we started out as just like, okay, you're in the woo and I'm the kind of skeptic.
Yeah, but that changes really quickly.
That obviously changed very, very quickly.
No, but I mean, I become the skeptic for a long while in it though, yeah.
But it's like, what am I trying to say? It's not like there's like this goal that we have to reveal stuff and give lots of knowledge to other people or wisdom around like that. It's that like, no, we're looking into this stuff too, so we'll be as honest as we can about it.
Yeah, that's it. It's documenting the journey rather than trying to come from a place of the knower.
Yeah.
Which is, I know there's enough knowers, I think. Not enough documenters.
I still don't know shit, man. You know what I mean? I pick up a woo book that I bought and just go, oh, what? What's all this? This is new. No, I don't know any of this.
What's all this bullshit that I need to know? Oh, for God's sake. This looks really helpful. For God's sake, do I have to know this as well?
But like there's been a say change, an evolution of the pair of us though. We're not different people, obviously. Like we still have our characteristics and all that, but like, yeah, we're a good bit smarter than we were 2 years ago.
I think
no,
so.
It's more than 2 years ago. I'd say 3 years ago was Hellier. Yeah,
it's the week before Christmas. We start the first podcast, so it's season 2 of Hellier has just come out, so that's whenever that is.
Right.
I think one of the other cool things is starting off that you can hear, particularly in the first episode, where I'm trying to come trying to explain stuff to you or whatever, and seeing how that just doesn't happen anymore. And there's a lot of times where I go, but what you explain to me, and I think that dynamic of kind of the new person to the person who knows that changed, and I think changed pretty quick, because I mean you caught up to things really, really quick. So I kind of like that, where it feels the initial thing of the woo and the skeptic, or the new guy and the old guy. I don't feel that anymore. It feels very we're on the same level type of thing in that regard. Peers.
Yeah.
Rather than any kind of a thing, which is good. It's way more helpful for me, to be able to pick someone else's brain. And also this thing, like in Ireland, it's like someone going, well, what's this? I have to go, oh shit, I should know this. What would people think if I don't know this?
It's mad as well, like the amount of people we've met through this, it's fucking unreal, like from the early days when like there were some people who were commenting and even like buying us stuff and all that kind of stuff, and how that's changed over the years. And there's been different waves of people have gotten to know us, or they listen for, that's the nature of podcasts anyway. You listen, very few people listen to podcasts from the start of a thing to the end of it, all the way to the sure. Every now and again.
Well, and hopefully in some ways they don't, because you progress as a person, and all that, and you dip in, especially when you're in stuff like occultism or self-improvement or whatever it is we do. You're going to gravitate towards other things, and you may find, I've listened to 50 episodes of Spud and Tommie, and I don't like chaos magic. It's not for me. No, good.
Good, yeah. You've
sad
learned,
that it took you 50 episodes to realise.
Took me 100 to realise you're using me.
I suppose we should. Yeah, but I did it secretly, underhandedly. You never knew. I was just all the time just picking your pockets, just taking.
Many books has this fella got, Pierre Grimes? Tons probably, eh?
No, he has the main one, which is out of print, but seemingly is getting reissued. I'll be interested to see. There's a particular paragraph which is quite dodgy. I wonder will it be in the new edition. That's Philosophical Midwifery. That's from 1998, 96, something like that. Then he has 2 kind of workbooks around it, which are terrible, really bad. You put together, really bad formatted, but worth your time, because you will get something from it.
Right, I understand.
And the process, or whatever. And then he has another one which is 5 dialogues, explaining different things from different point of view. Jesus is one of them, Plato, all that. It's looking at the dialectic type of stuff from Plato. And then he's a couple other ones that are out of print, so I don't even know what they are. But yeah, he's mostly video, audio. Like there's 420 videos in that channel.
Oh, beat the fuck.
Yeah. Right. From Plato, Parmenides to Alan Watts to drugs to all of these things. But I like him. Yeah, there is a suggestion in that, not a suggestion, he kind of more or less is that homosexuality is a pathologos or shadow, which clearly it isn't. And I will be interested to see if he agrees with that now, given it's 30 years later or whatever. But I've pointed to always the problematic bit, isn't it? It's always there. And I don't know. We may talk about this T-shirt and stuff.
God, yeah.
Because it'll be on. We have a new T-shirt, a new logo. You'll see it all. It'll be in the show description. We also have pillows, wall hangs. What else is on our stickers?
Your wife, and then you see me and Tommie looking at you.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, big wall hang over flag over it. Anyway,
well, you could use. No, actually, you can use it in your star sapphire ritual.
It's a lovely teal sapphire colour.
In elongate.
Oh yeah. So if you think you're going to come,
no, look at Tommie's foot. No, I'm okay.
Be worse. I'm going to come. Look at Spud and go. Oh yeah, here we are. I've arrived.
Maggie Thatcher naked on a cold day on the beach. Maggie Thatcher naked on a cold day on the beach. Maggie Thatcher naked on a cold.
Yeah, I thought you do it often enough, you'll get into it. It's challenging, but you can get there. So if you want to, there's another way to support the show and to support it's from Tea Republic. So if you buy it in the US, it gets shipped from the US. If you buy it in the UK, it gets shipped from the UK. And if you buy it in the EU, it gets shipped from the EU. Not sure about Australia, what happens or in that kind of vicinity, but the quality seems good. If you want to have a T-shirt with my face and Spud's face on it, then now you can. Links in the show description and all of that. But definitely buy a cup or a mug.
Yeah,
I'm definitely buying that. Yeah, absolutely.
Mugs look cool. Yeah, it's man. So to the next 100, huh?
Yeah. Should be cool. We have some things I want to do over the next while that I think we can probably talk about now just briefly. I want to do Irish lessons because people have been talking about that we can teach them some Irish. I think we could do that. A couple of fuckla or fuckle. And
fuckle, yeah.
Maybe some interesting facts about Ireland. We could have a wee Irish section. And then there was a thing that you came up with a while ago where you had the kind of breakdown of the different what is this? What is this? What is this? What is this? And just kind of like just a section where we kind of go, well, what exactly is this? What's our thoughts around it? Have you still the list? You did, Grant. There you go. And maybe we don't always have to do a documentary. That's kind of just to because I mean, what is it? An hour and 15 minutes, and we haven't once talked about Stephen Greer.
Greer.
Yeah.
He didn't cry.
He's very close. Yeah, he was close when he's talking about
up a bit, all right.
16-year-olds with spinal breaks. But fucking love that Jeremy Corbell and Luis Alessandro get absolutely destroyed in this documentary. Yeah.
Good.
Do you want to do it, or have we enough time?
No, we'll talk about it next time. What are we? An hour and 20 now. No. We're grand. Yeah, so that sounds good, man. That sounds good.
Or if anyone else has any kind of ideas or anything that they would like, I like the rambly nature of the podcast, but I understand that's definitely not for everyone. And I have tried to listen to other rambly podcasts, and I don't enjoy it. You kind of really have to be invested in the people. So I think with a wee bit of structure and trying to do something that
what it means is that our character is obviously superior to their character.
Exactly. Well, I mean, that's one of those things like the philosophy or the midwifery. It's just that goes without saying. You don't have to put words in that. It's just something we all accept about life. Yeah, don't try and get rid of that. Keep that. It's important. So if there's something else we could do, the nature of why we do a documentary is that it makes us have some sort of structure and some sort of theme that we have to keep coming back to or whatever. But if there's another way doing it, we used to do books. Remember, we used to read books and talk about that. That's a bigger commitment than a 2-hour documentary, I suppose.
The full books are too fucking long, man, and the ones that are short are shite. That's it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, true story.
Any occult book that's 200 pages long that's published like recently. I'll put that little caveat in it. There's usually crap or very larpy.
Nothing new, just the same thing. That remember that book we got that was awful? The
guy who did chaos magic and he met a Kardashian.
Yeah,
that guy.
And Marilyn Manson liked him or something.
What the fuck? Yeah, man.
You should see all the reviews on Amazon for it. It's really good. He definitely didn't buy them. Other opinions are available. So that's kind of it. Yeah, t-shirts. If you've any ideas, we'll do some sort of Irish teaching thing, Irish fact. We'll try not to bash the British too much when we do the Irish facts. We'll have.
I'm not promising to that.
That might not be true. And so thanks for everyone for listening for the 100 episodes. Everyone. Even if you've only listened, if this is your first one, there are better episodes. Sometimes
you have a lot of catching up to do.
Yeah, the funniest episode of all time, I think, is the Doctor Not a Doctor episode. That's when it finally all fell apart and we just lost our minds. And of course we have the TaSTA rituals, we have all of these things. Anyway, we're just kind of we're getting very close into upper boy territory of, if you want to have a one-on-one session with me, it's €900 and I'll speak to you for 45 minutes about
condescendingly
in a weird voice where I talk very weirdly.
I'll do it for 50 quid, lad. Right? Don't mind it.
Bye.